Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. I hope this video reaches everyone doing well. Today I was going to do a tag video on 3 fragrances that I have kind of a love-hate relationship. It's a tag video from Ashton from Gent Sense, but in lieu of that, I am going to do a first impressions video. I was kind of excited because today I got in Hugo Boss Hugo Now. It's kind of confusing to use the name of your house in the name of the fragrance, but it's called Hugo Now, and I just got it now a few minutes ago. And so when we return, we're going to check out this fragrance, see if it's worth getting as part of your blue fragrance summer for spring and summer. That and more when we return, so stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back. Hugo Now was released earlier this year. The nose behind the fragrance, the perfumist or perfumer, is Frank Vogel. Picture of him there. But the real story behind the fragrance is Eckhart Tolle with the power of now. Not really, I'm just kidding. But wouldn't that be a coincidence? I own about 10 to 15 different Hugo Boss fragrances, and what's unique and interesting about them is they all carry some similarity in DNA, and yet they're all unique and different enough to be worth owning in their own right. So not all of them smell the same, but they have kind of a uniqueness about them. I can't particularly put my finger on it. Maybe it's that apple cider, because that kind of that apple-ish, the Boss No. 6, the original, the pillar fragrance, that apple DNA is sort of in all of them. Maybe to a lesser degree than a greater degree, but it's there. There's no mistaking it. So I wanted to check out Hugo Now, which is a relatively new release. Again, it was released earlier this year. It is a aquatic fresh fragrance that is supposed to be very similar, a lot of people are saying, to Dolce & Gabbana's light blue Eau Intense, or just the light blue. So we're gonna check it out and see if it has any similarities or if it's unique enough to stand on its own. So without any further ado, let's get into the box and check out that presentation. What's interesting about the Hugo Boss box, it has some additional information on it. I'll show you on the top. You've got Hugo Boss, and on the sides, you can't really see it. I'll kind of show it in a different light there where it says Hugo Boss. It's also embossed in the red, and that's on both sides. Bottom, we've got a QRC or smart code and the batch code, as well as the UPC. You can see all of that. And then on the very back, some additional information. I'll read to you the notes that it says that's in the fragrance on the back. It says, an exhilarating boost of energy with a dose of confidence to seize the only moment you own now. It is true philosophically, transcendentally, if you want to look at it that way, because all we have is the here and now. So top notes are cardamom and lemon zest. The heart note is aromatic notes, and the base note is vetiver. I looked into this a little bit on Fragrantica.com and Parfumo.net, and they agree that the top notes are cardamom and lemon zest. However, the heart notes include mint, lavender, a water molecule aquazone with a base of Haitian vetiver. So that's gonna be kind of interesting. And as with all of Hugo Boss fragrances that are in this particular flacon, which I'm gonna show you a little bit more of. By the way, top of the box, on the front of the box, you've got the blue and then the white and then the red and black logo contrast. So that's kind of cool. Let me get the bottle out of the box. Now I have a particular affinity for these flacons, and the reason why is because they're cool. There's no particular reason why. I think they look great. Remember, they're modeled after the original GI, the military GI OD, the green canteen. So they're kind of, in a way, they're utilitarian. So it's basically saying this fragrance is going to be for all kinds of uses. And like water might quench your thirst, the fragrance in here fills a specific need, whether that's utilitarian or unique to you personally. So that's kind of the representation of having it in this cool flacon. So this one is the first time they've done this before. It is a limited edition release. As such, the flacon is frosted. So it's frosted glass. It is see-through. I don't know if you can see through it there. It's really cool looking. I'll show you kind of up close. So you've got see-through frosted glass, Hugo Boss on the logo. That's actually printed ink on the frosted glass. And you've got kind of a baby blue or light blue nylon connection between the lid and the glass, so that when you do take the lid off, of course it doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there. And then you've got kind of a plasticky portion here. So if you want to decant this, you can screw this off and take it off. The reason you would want to decant a fragrance like this is because if the performance is relatively poor, then you want to take a decant with you. And there's all kinds of, as I've mentioned in previous videos, like the one yesterday that I dropped, I had the Azzaro Sensual blends. If your complaint that the performance is poor, take a little decant with you, a travel size sprayer. There's all kinds that are really cool, fit neatly in your pocket, and you can whip it out and spray it anytime you feel like this is suffering in performance. So let's go ahead and shoot some juice onto a strip and see what it smells like. Let's do a 3-pump prime, 1, 2, 3. Sprays a good bit of juice, that's good. That's one thing I do like about these flacons. The atomizer is really good. Oh wow, okay. I was not expecting for a blue fragrance something that's quite as powerful as this. Now it does kind of remind me right out of the bottle, I have to say, kind of hate to admit it, but it does kind of remind me of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. It has that zest, kind of like the lemon peel, aquatic lavender, bright eye-opening zest that the Eau Intense does. But I'm not going to complain if it is very similar, because I love Eau Intense, but this may be a little bit different once it dries down. So, all right, so the opening notes are very similar to Dolce & Gabbana's Eau Intense, right? So let's see what the dry down is like, and let's see what the difference is when we spray it on skin. Drying down really nice. This doesn't seem like a fragrance that's going to be poor in performance. I'll say that up front. I would be surprised if this dries down and dissipates and becomes a skin scent. Of course, a lot of citrus is in the open. Typically, citrus does go away after the first 15-20 minutes. I'll give you that, but even so, this is projecting pretty powerfully even off a strip. So let's try it out on skin. I'm gonna try it in 2 places on my arm. First, there, kind of missed it a little bit. See if I get better aim. There we go. Really good amount of spray that you get. I'm gonna give it a second, put that lid on. I really do like the stylized flagon, the frosted glass, and that Qeeo canteen look is fantastic. And it's so Hugo Boss. It's so classic. As a designer, you can't get much better than that. I really do like it. Looks great on your shelf too. I'm gonna set that aside for a second. I'm gonna pause the video for just a second because I do want to get that dry down to kind of give you a better idea of what it's gonna do on your skin after about 15-20 minutes. So I'll be right back. All right guys, while I pause the video for just a moment, I went ahead and got my Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue because I'm so curious. It does smell very similar. It's got that kind of salty, briny coming from the Aqua Zone, and that lavender and that lemon zest that really makes it smell so similar. But let's see, because a lot of times our memory of fragrances isn't wholesale gospel. So let's try a test and see how close they actually smell. So this on this arm, Hugo Now on the other. Let's give it a shot. I didn't start this video out to be a comparison of the two, but that's what it's going to end up being. Okay. So not a ton of difference when you smell them side by side. Honestly, you can tell it's kind of in the same wheelhouse, as all blue fragrances are often in the same wheelhouse. I'm going to give it a moment and see which one has better projection. You probably already know, right? So Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense is a lot more, it's stronger. It is a lot more, it's projecting more off my skin than is the Hugo Now. I do like what the lavender is doing in the Hugo Now. The lavender is becoming more prominent. So the lemon zest is kind of dying away, and there's some kind of warmth coming from the cardamom, kind of a warm sweetness in the lavender. So it's probably coming from the cardamom, and that vetiver is giving a dry overtones with the warm sweetness. So the lavender, that's the prominent note in Hugo Now. What's prominent, this one has a lot more punch to it. So Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense is a lot more intense than Hugo Now, but I do like the subtleties of Hugo Now. Side by side, they are not very similar. You can tell they're in the same, again, they're in the same genre or the same ilk, as it were, because they're blue fragrances. And all blue fragrances have some similarities, you've got to admit that, but side by side, no, they're very different. Eau Intense is a lot more intense. Probably better projection, probably better longevity. So again, as a first impression video, I can't tell you what the longevity of Hugo Now is, Some Hugo fragrances do suffer in performance in terms of longevity. Again, you get a 125 ml bottle. If you feel like it is a poor performer, but you really do like that lemon peel zest and that aquatic lavender, sweet cardamom, if you do like that fragrance, which I do, I really like it, and you do want to take a travel size with you, decant it. That's exactly what I'll do, decant it. So don't really, I like Hugo Boss as a house. Again, some of their fragrances are a little lacking in longevity and performance, but for what you pay, you get what you pay for. In this case, this being a relatively newcomer and it being a limited edition, you're gonna pay a little bit more. I paid right around $59 and change on eBay for this. Don't pay more than that. Do not pay more than that. Just something to consider. There you go, guys. Hugo Now, a nice addition, I believe, in the Hugo Boss family in terms of a limited edition release, and a nice addition for a blue fragrance. Spring and summer, daytime, nighttime, casual wear. It's not something I would use to dress up. You could probably, but it's going to be more comfortable in maybe a button up in jeans like what I'm wearing, or a t-shirt and jeans, kicking it at home or wearing to the office. Definitely not going to be overbearing. It's subtle enough to where you can wear it to the office and yet fresh enough to where you may even get compliments, full compliments from it. So that's it, guys. First impression and blind buy of Hugo Boss Hugo Now. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.